The Beacon Center of Tennessee makes news, changes laws, defeats the government in court. It may technically be a think tank, but it's more action than contemplation. The mission is to get government out of people's lives, and the successes are front page news, which would suggest this is a big operation. Hard to believe, all of that generated by 8 people. Beacon Center President Justin Owen.
That's probably what I'm the most proud of, is the team that we've built that comes to work every day and fights tirelessly for what they believe in. And that we may not score a touchdown every single day, but we're going to do everything we can to move that ball down the field and make it closer and closer to the time when we can score that touchdown. Because that touchdown for us means someone else's freedom has been restored.
With a staff of only 8, there's not a lot of delegating, there's a lot of work from the top down. And it makes sense. Justin grew up showing pigs and driving tractors on his dad's West Tennessee farm, where the idea was hard work will pay off.
As somebody who was born and raised in Tennessee, who's literally lived here all my life, that's the best part of the job, is I get to fight for my fellow Tennesseans, the very neighbors and family and friends that I grew up around.
Lindsay Boyd is another small-town Tennessean, and although she has traveled and worked all over the world, it's those small-town Bristol, Tennessee roots that keep showing up in her work.
My faith is incredibly important to me. It's something that comes first in my life and always will. I'll never negotiate that. It will never become a secondary priority. It's what drives me and motivates me.
Communications Director Mark Cunningham is a volunteer middle school basketball coach. He has the required booming voice, but also the fundamental idea that part of being a great team is having players who believe in what they're doing.
You get to do the X's and O's, and really you have such an impact on the game without actually playing. It's the same thing that we do here at Beacon. It's a very similar idea. It's like we have such an impact on legislation and people's hearts and minds, even though we're not the ones who actually vote on it. And it's the same type of thing with basketball, where you can execute, you can basically use each kid's skills and put them in the best position to succeed.
Step it in, rewrite it as you feel like you need to do it.
Down the hall, a perfect example of a perfect fit. The Beacon Center's counselor, Braden Boucek.
I've always been a little bit concerned about that.
Boucek is a former federal prosecutor who exchanged getting drug lords and villains to fighting for people being pushed around by the government.
It's a tremendous honor. I've been privileged to have a legal career where I've always kind of represented people who needed help. I've kind of always seen my career as one where I've had people's backs, even if they didn't know I was there.
The Beacon Center, by the way, wins way more often than it loses. Pretty hard to consistently beat the government.
Well, it's one thing to represent the United States of America, literally, and another thing to represent the ideas and notions that make the United States of America a great and unique place.
Some people think, there's a perception out there, that a think tank that works to reduce government is somehow heartless. Forget about what people think, forget about what they say, and look at what the Beacon Center does. It helps people over and over.
Nobody told me the road would be easy.
Amanda Wilcox was dying of advanced cancer, but in Tennessee she couldn't take experimental drugs, even drugs that were ruled safe. The state wanted her to wait for years for more and more trials. Beacon went into emergency mode and changed the law. And by the way, Amanda is cured. The state of Tennessee wanted people who shampoo hair to pay for 300 hours of cosmetology school and get a state license. School resource officer Tammy Pritchard was just trying to make extra money. She didn't want or need to go back to school, but she sure didn't have money to fight the state. She didn't need any. Braden and Beacon took care of it.
He sat up there and fought for me like I had $1 million, and I didn't have anything. So yes, the Beacon Center is not here to put on a show. They are really helping people.
Hard to stereotype the Beacon Center of Tennessee. A bunch of different people who all agree on a big idea. If the government trespasses on the Constitution and the people, fight back.
We look at policies, and if it's the right thing to do, whether it's been viewed as a left or a right thing, is inconsequential to us. For us, it's about restoring people's individual rights and freedoms. And if that's viewed as leftist or rightist, we don't care. All we care about is whether it's right or wrong, not whether it's right or left.